What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Neca Ultimate Lasershot Predator figure. And this figure is based on a Predator figure that was in the Kenner line back in the day, so we have that old school Kenner type of artwork in the front. It's not actually how the figure is packaged, but I think it's pretty cool that they paid homage in this way. I like how it has like the digital exploding effect right here and a bunch of information. It looks really cool. And then on the side of the box, we got the same thing going on with the light green and the old school Predator text. Down here it says Neca like it used to say Kenner. That's awesome. Then on the back we get a look at the figure itself, and then it displays some of his accessories, and then it has a really long biography, which is cool because I didn't know anything about this character, so I like that they included some information. So now I know a little bit about him, and he seems like he's pretty crazy, so I like that a lot. And then it shows down here how you interchange some of the accessories. Then on this side, same kind of thing, and then you could open this up kind of like a book, and then you're able to see the figure. And it's really cool. This is the classic Neca packaging here, but there's a lot of stuff going on. You can see all the accessories, the figure itself, and then on this side we get a look at some other figures, and I believe that these are already out, but I'm not 100% sure. I thought I saw this one on Amazon, but I'm not sure if it's the same one. There's so many different Predators, and a lot of them look similar, so I'm not too sure if these are out yet. Let me know in the comments if they are, because I'd be interested in picking up this dude over here with the blue helmet. He looks awesome. And then we have some old school artwork up here. And yeah, this looks really cool. I like this package and presentation and all that good stuff. It is collector friendly. But anyways, let's open it up and take a look at the figure itself. Okay, so here we have him, Lasershot Predator right out of the box, and this thing is looking really good. Check out all the detail on the armor. We're gonna jump right into it here. Look at all the different shades of gold that they have. You have like the shinier stuff and then the more weathered look. And just look at all that sculpted detail. Just all kinds of crazy things going on everywhere. And I really love when Predators have armor because it kind of looks primitive but still advanced, and it looks very alien. Look at that. That is awesome. Check out all the sculpted details all the way down to the fingers. You have some more stuff going on here. There's little controls. You have some blades. Look at all that, man. That looks so good. On this side, the same thing. And then we do have a little hole right here, but that's because you could plug in this little arm piece that has like a diamond thing. And that's for his shield to come out of, and we'll take a look at that later. See some more over here. And it looks like it has a really nice wash in there too. It's not overdone or anything. Dang, look at all that. Everywhere there's stuff going on. And then down in here we have some more armored stuff going on. We have like this skull belt buckle that looks really cool. You have some red eyes and a bunch of like paint details. And then I really like how these parts hide the articulation, but they do not get in the way whatsoever. So that is really nice because it's 3 different pieces. So when you move the leg, it just kind of shifts out of the way, but it does get in the way like that. So once you move his leg around, you gotta be mindful that this thing is slipped out, and you just gotta tuck it back in there. But look at that. That all looks really nice. And then his skin color is mostly dark blue with a little bit of purple in it. I do wish there was more purple, but I do like the way it looks, and I like how it kind of fades from light purple to dark purple, then into the dark blue. And it does have like that net texture to the skin, and you can just see it all over the place. But yeah, I think I like the skin color a lot, and it looks different. Such a cool looking figure. I really love when Predators have armor and stuff. And with this guy, it stood out to me because he's purple. When I saw it at Comic-Con, it was a big purple Predator with armor, and it had all his accessories on him, and it just looked real crazy and impressive. So I was interested in this one right away when I saw it. And let's take a look at the head sculpt here. Just look at that. You have the classic type of look for the Predator's face, but look at all this armor and mechanics. Then you have the red dreadlocks. And then we have this thing in the back here that looks really good too. Look at that. And this thing does come up and then comes down like that. Look at that. That's so cool. But yeah, let's talk about his face real quick. So I really like the face sculpt, but one thing that kind of threw me off when I first took the figure out of the box was that they decided to put the battery compartment right on the front of the head. And at first I was like, man, why would they do that? What a weird decision. But then when you think about it, he has all kinds of weird stuff going on, and you don't even notice it. It kind of just blends in with everything that we have going on. Like you have all these sculpted mechanical parts, and it just, even the screw just blends in with it all. Because look at that, you have that screw there, and then up here you have a sculpted part that kind of looks like a screw. The only thing that kind of still stands out is the hole right there from where it had the thing where it like blocks the battery from being used, and then you pull it out so then you could turn it on. But I mean, other than that, it looks fine, you know, and I really like the way it looks without the helmet. He does come with the helmet that we'll look at in just a second, but I like the way it looks without the helmet. So this had to kind of grow on me a little bit. At first I was a little annoyed, but then I was like, oh, well, I'm going to use this helmet anyways. But I really liked it without the helmet. And so I've been keeping the helmet off, and I forget about this almost. Or I don't forget, but you know, I don't notice it. Especially like, look at, like just like that, don't even notice it. And it's still within like vision, you know, it's still in a place where you would see it, but just looking at it straight on, you don't even notice it. But the reason why they did that is so that they could include the light. And let's check this out. Boom. Just a little button right there. Turns the light on. Let's move this light right here so we can see it. Look at that. That is so cool. I think this might be the first time that Neca has incorporated a light up feature into one of their Predator figures. I could be wrong. I don't have that many Predators, but this is very cool. So I'm okay with what they had to do to make this happen. I suppose it would have been hard to put it anywhere else. You know, couldn't put it really under the dreads because then you couldn't reach it. So I get it, but I don't know. I wish there was a better solution. But as I said, it doesn't bug me too much. It just kind of threw me off at the beginning. And let's take a look at him with this helmet on, because this is really cool too. They wanted to make it so that you could put his helmet on and you could still see the light. And you got to kind of shift it around, otherwise it's going to cover the light for the most part. But there we go. And that's really cool too. And it's kind of hard to turn the light on and off with the helmet on, but you could kind of bring it down. Yeah, and there we go. Look at that. And this helmet is really cool too. The only thing is the helmet is huge. The Predator already has a big head, but when you throw this helmet on, it looks real crazy. And there's a light again. And it's not like it's having problems staying on. It's just the pressure from the mask is kind of messing with the button. You know, you could make it to where you just turn the button on, slip the mask on, and it'll stay on the whole time. But yeah, that is cool, man. I like this a lot. They did an incredible job with the sculpt and with the light up feature. And it's just a really impressive looking figure. And aside from the couple of accessories that we've already talked about, he does come with some other cool things, including some interchangeable hands. So for his right side, he does come with two hands. He has an open hand, and then he has a fist. And then for the left side, he has a regular open hand. And then we have this big old monstrosity. Check out this crazy looking hand. This thing is awesome. Look at it. A lot of nice details, just like the rest of the figure, obviously. But I do like the sculpting on it. But the thing that's really cool about it is that these fingers are fully articulated. And at first, I didn't know that that was going to be the case, because the first thing I looked at was the thumb, and it looked like it only articulated right in there. So I was like, oh, okay, you know, they didn't want to make the rest of the fingers too fragile or whatever. But when I started to mess with these fingers, I saw that they're actually articulated, you know, right there where I initially thought, then in the knuckles of the finger itself. So look at that. That's really cool. And all the articulation is very well hidden in there because of the sculpt of the fingers, you know, all those layers and everything. It helps hide the articulation. So yeah, these are cool and they work very good. And just check them out, man. This thing is insane. And then next up, he has his energy shield, and this thing is pretty cool. I like the way that it just plugs into his arm very easily. There's no problems getting him to hold this. But the one thing I don't like about this thing is that this part of the arm doesn't swivel, so it's very hard to get the shield in front of him and to make it look like he's, you know, protecting himself with it. He could pretty much only protect his side with it. So that's one thing I'm not crazy into. Like, it just stuck right there. You can't swivel this part at all. So that kind of sucks, but it does look cool, and I think it's pretty interesting for a Predator to have a big energy shield like this. I think that's pretty awesome. I just wish I was able to swivel this around and get it in front of him. I'm sure you could twist his body around and kind of make it work, you know, make it look like it's in front of him. But no matter what, because that part doesn't swivel, it's going to be a little bit tough and it's going to look a little awkward. But I do like it. It's a cool accessory. And then for the final accessory, he comes with this crazy long mechanical spear. And just check out how long this thing is. And the fact that it's so long is kind of a gift and a curse, because it's cool that it shoots out that far, but at the same time, it's going to eventually sag if you just leave it there. That's why I kind of have it twisted like this, because that reduces the sagging a little bit. But it is very cool, and check out the details on this little thing. It comes with two different ends. It has a grappling, I mean not a grappling hook, but you know, some type of hook. And then it has this spear thing. And both of them are very nice. And I like that it's more of a bronze color and not gold. That way it looks a little bit different from the rest of the figure. And it just attaches to right here. and it does have a bendy wire, but let's take this out for a second. It's a really tight squeeze, but there we go. And it does have a bendy wire, so you can manipulate it in any way that you want. And another thing that's cool is when you take the spear out of the part where it shoots from, you could also stick these things in there. And there's like a certain way that they go, so there it is, just like that, and it adds a little bit more to the figure itself. So that is really cool stuff. I like this thing a lot. For some size comparisons, we have the Lasershot Predator alongside the Marvel Select Venom and the Marvel Select Movie Wolverine. And then next up, we have them alongside the Neca Armored Batman and the Neca Movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Raphael. And then now here we have the DC Essential Superman and the DC Collectibles Batman from the GameStop exclusive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sets. And now here we have them alongside the Neca DC vs. Dark Horse Superman and the Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Soundwave. And Transformers and Predator have a weird connection in my mind because for some reason lately I've just been obsessed with both of them, and like a year ago I couldn't care less about either one of those franchises. I've always thought they were cool, but they just weren't for me. But for some reason, since Comic-Con, I've been all interested in both of those franchises. I've been looking up figures to buy and picking up things here and there. But yeah, it's really cool to get into new lines and be excited about toys. I'm always excited about toys, but it's cool to be excited about stuff that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. So it's good stuff. And then now here we have them with the Mezco 112 Collective Sovereign Knight Batman and then the Mezco King Kong figure. And then of course Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And then next we have them alongside a Neca Alien, and this is the one that came in the DC vs. Dark Horse 2-pack along with Superman. And then on the other side of him we have the Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive Thanos. And then for the final comparison, I have them alongside the only other Predator figures that I own, and that would be the Broken Tusk Predator on the left, and then on the right, we have the one that came in the DC vs. Dark Horse 2-packs along with Batman. And if you saw my review for that guy, you know that I had a bunch of problems with it, a bunch of QC issues mostly. I liked the figure, I thought it was very cool, but it sucked because there was a peg in the knee that was broken, and then the shoulder peg looked like it was going to break eventually. So when I contacted Neca about getting a new Superman boot, because there was a problem with that too, I also let them know about this Predator figure, and then they sent me a whole new lower body for Predator. I didn't mention the thing about the shoulder because I just figured we'll see what happens, but then I was messing with it and then it ripped off. So then I contacted Neca again and told them what happened, and then they went ahead and sent me a new shoulder. So I did have to replace the shoulder, but it was awesome that even after the first time where I didn't tell them everything that was wrong with the figure, they still took care of me after the fact. So that is awesome. Neca has some great customer service. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that because I really like that figure, and in my review it probably didn't come off that way because of the issues, but it's a really good figure, so I'm very happy with it. But anyways, they look really cool together. And for the articulation, obviously there's going to be a lot of things that are hindered because of all the armor pieces and just all the things that he has going on, but considering that there's so many joints that are blocked, we still get some pretty good range out of everything. So let's get into it here. His head is able to move side to side, he's got a little bit of tilt to it, and he could look up to only about right there because his dreads get in the way, and he could look down to right there, which is more important to me, so that's good. And like I said, he's got a little bit of tilt and then some side to side. And then for the torso, we have a mid-torso cut and then a waist cut, and using both of those you could get some really nice crunching forward. Considering he's such a big character with a bunch of armor, I think his forward movement is pretty good there in the torso. And then you have twist here at the upper torso joint, and you could also twist at that waist joint, but just because of the shape of the waist, it seems like it makes more sense just to go right here for your twist, so that's good. And then you have some side to side at those two joints. You could go back to right there. And yeah, I really like the torso joints on these Predator figures. You just you have to loosen them up, get it a little bit warm, and then there's a lot of good movement in there. And then for the arms, that's pretty much the only spot that's really hindered by the armor and stuff, and that would be the shoulder joints. And on this side, we get some pretty good range actually, and it's kind of surprising because there's more armor on this side, but the placement of the armor allows for a little bit more movement than on this side. As you could see, this little armor piece is on the bicep, so it frees up the shoulder joint under there, and then this is soft plastic, so you know, it just kind of moves out of the way and it works out good. But on this side, the armor piece is on the shoulder joint itself, so it doesn't go up as high as the opposite arm. But you know, I'm fine with it considering that there's so much going on here, you know. That's kind of what I expected, so it's all good. But I do wish that on this side that this little armor piece was down lower on the bicep, and then maybe if they would have brought down the shoulder armor and it would have given the illusion of shoulder armor all the way through, kind of like over here. but you know, they didn't. They decided to go that way, which is fine. But anyways, for this arm, it could come all the way out to the side. It does have a ball joint in there, so it would be able to go all the way around if it didn't have this armor piece. But as is, he could bring his arm up to about right there, which is pretty nice if you want to have him lifting someone up in the air or something. Then you could bring it back a really nice amount, come out to the side. Then you have the upper bicep swivel. You have double jointed elbows, which get pretty good range, especially on this side. And then on this side, you do have a swivel at the forearm, but on this side you do not. And then over here you have the super articulated fingers, which we've already looked at. But yeah, this is really cool. There's a bunch of articulation in these things. Pretty much all the joints are articulated except for on the thumb. On the thumb, you only get movement right there where it meets the hand. And then there's a little ball joint in there, so you have some movement at the wrist, and you could kind of shift it around to get it to move into different directions. But on this side, you just have a peg, so you have a swivel and then a hinge. But yeah, really good stuff going on with the hand and the arms, except for in the shoulders. They could have done a little bit better, but it's what I expected. And then for the legs, he could bring his legs out all the way to the side. You could pretty much get him to do the splits if you wanted to. So that's good. And then you have these little pieces here that don't get in the way. And they just kind of come back down where they're supposed to. And that's awesome. And then you could get them to kick forward to about right there. Not too bad. Bring them back to about right there. And then you have the upper thigh swivel. On both sides it works good. And then you have the double jointed knee, which has an okay bend, but because of the little armored boot thing, it only bends to right there, but that's fine. And then for the feet, we have a swivel, and his foot is on a little ball joint, so you get some pretty good movement. You get some kind of like some rocking action, so that's okay. And then you could bring them, can't really bring them forward too much because of the shape of the foot, and then you could bring them up to about right there. So yeah, pretty good articulation on this big, crazy, monster, mechanical, robot predator guy. There's all kinds of good stuff going on. You would think that a lot of the articulation doesn't work as good as it does just by looking at it. But yeah, I like what they did here. I'm very happy with the articulation. Okay, so overall, I really like this figure. There's a bunch of cool stuff going on here. He has an amazing sculpt. He has really good articulation and really good accessories. And I love the light up feature, which I think that's something new for NECA, or we don't see that too much in their 7-inch scale figures. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a bunch of light up figures that I just don't know about. But for the most part, I don't think that we've seen too many light up features on Predator figures. So that is really cool. It's very exciting, especially because maybe I wasn't paying very much attention, but I didn't even know that this figure had a light up feature until I got it in hand. So that was really cool, very exciting. And yeah, man, he's just a really good figure, and I love the details on it. They always kill it with the sculpt, so that's no surprise. NECA always does a great job. And one big thing for me when it comes to NECA figures, you know, I have to be honest, sometimes I'm very hesitant to mess around with them because of the joints. Sometimes there's QC issues, and I know it's not all the time, but you know, it's happened to me more than once. So it's something that I'm always thinking about when I buy a NECA figure, which kind of sucks, but you know, they made it better by at least having really good customer service with the other Predator in the back there. But with this guy, I don't even have to worry about that at all because all the joints feel very good, very safe. I can mess with the figure. I don't have to worry about breaking it. There's nothing on him that feels weak. So it's a huge relief, and just in general, it was a real good experience with this figure, and I'm very happy to have it. And like I said before, I'm kind of jumping down the rabbit hole when it comes to these Predator figures, but there's so many of them, and you know, I'm not gonna go out and buy every single one of them, but I'm gonna pick and choose which ones I want. And I just want some suggestions. What Predator figures do you guys think that I should look into picking up? Right now I have my eye on the Golden Angel Predator. That one looks really cool, and I'll probably pick that up in a few weeks here. But yeah, let me know what other ones I should look into. I know there's a bunch of good ones, but I'm not gonna buy every single one. I just want the crazy, unique looking ones. So let me know in the comments. But anyways, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you're interested in one of the Unparalleled Universe mascot heads sculpted by Casting Cave and painted by me, there's a link in the description below so you could go buy that. Check that out. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Peace.